Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You could follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.97 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 2.7%. Bitcoin holding 117,000 plus, just under 118,000. Ethereum 3,700 plus. It's been creeping up all last week here. And XRP at the number 3 spot's been taking off. 349, holding our own. Now we're up 2.5 on the 24, and we're still up 25.3 on the 7-day. Looking at the range of price very quickly here, it's ranging between 336 and 353. I love this because we know we still have legislation that needs to be signed, passed, and become law. And I believe that is going to help send the rest of this space into the stratosphere, because at that point, when all the crypto legislation is passed and becomes law, nothing is holding any horse back in the gate. The gates are open and the horses are out, and banks have been waiting to come in and crush this space. You watch, you'll see. And right now, let's take a look at this. By the way, this price has got me thinking about all the things I've been wanting to do for years for my family. And you can too. You go to the Gulf of America XRP.com. Gulf of America XRP.com. This starts right here, 1.4. Cute little cottage. This is in Carolyn Beach. It's a gated, pedestrian-friendly community located on the Florida Gulf Coast, specifically in the Panama City Beach area. It is known for its quiet, residential atmosphere, white sand beaches, and family-friendly environment. The community is designed with a village by the sea concept featuring a central lake, a bell tower, and cobblestone streets. It sounds so quaint and beautiful. I just want to do something like this for my family. I've been looking at land and apartments, condos, standalone, single-family homes like this, cottages. This starting at 1.4. If this was in Malibu, the taxes would put you out of town right there and right out the gate. But let alone the price of a property like this would probably be like $15 million. No, seriously. No income tax in Florida. This is what I'm saying. Like, don't mess around. Like, it just gets better. This is like starting at 1.4. Then this one like 1.5. Then it starts to go up a little bit. And look at this beautiful home here. And by the way, you could walk out this back door right onto those beautiful white sandy beaches. Yeah, I'm into it. Look, this is why I've held all these years. I want to be able to do really incredible things like this with my family and have better, more deep, meaningful engagement and experiences with my family. And I know you do too. Go to GulfAmericaXRP.com, click the link underneath the video, sign up, get the phone number, ask for Daniel. You can text or call him. And by the way, don't let this like scare you off, because the truth is that you could do timeshare. You don't have to be there the whole time. They will help set up any style approach to your second home or permanent home, whatever you decide. They will help you get it put together the way you need to for your family. So all you have to think about is fun and making memories, no doubt about it. Let's get started right here as the crypto giants all agree, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's Brian Armstrong, whether it's the CEO of MasterCard, whether it's Paulo Ardoino, because the legislation that just got signed into law allows foreign issuers 3 years to get inside the United States. You know, all of these different leaders in the industry have come together to say, you know, we're very happy about stablecoin creation and legislation and all of this coming to pass. CEO Kraken. Again, it started with the CEO of MasterCard. I don't want to play it because there's music in it, and I think it's a copyright issue. But nonetheless, we've talked also about, there's the Winklevoss twins. Come on in, guys. Jeremy Allaire. Look, and we've talked about also yesterday the Fortune 500. Every Fortune 500 is about to enter this space in a very big, meaningful way. What's the market cap of crypto look like collectively once we see that full embrace? Let's listen to this clip here. It's from the All In podcast talking about USD Tether. Have to come on shore. Take a listen. David Sachs.
He understands crypto. He's involved in it. Seems to have an understanding of the value of stablecoins for the US dollar. That seems to be a key motivator for this being bipartisan. You got twice as many Democrats as you thought you would get. Is that because people want to make sure that dollar supremacy gets locked in, and stablecoins is a way to do that? Because you can't have a stablecoin unless it's backed by a dollar.
Yeah, I mean, like I've talked about on this show before, it shouldn't be that hard to sell regulation to Democrats. I mean, what we're doing here is providing a regulatory framework for the industry. They didn't have one before, and that's why the number one stablecoin player in the world right now is an offshore entity. They will have to come onshore as part of this bill in the next 3 years. So what we're doing here is creating a regulatory framework. But the reason why it's substantially bipartisan is because the industry wants this regulation because they want the stability it gives them in terms of having that legal authorization. They want to make sure that if, 4 years, 8 years from now, 12 years from now, whatever, there's not some new Gary Gensler who comes in and turns the whole industry upside down because he doesn't like some aspect of what they're doing and he just starts prosecuting them, which is what the industry experienced over the past 4 years with Biden's war on crypto. So we, meaning the Trump administration, could fix the Gensler issues just with agency rulemaking, and we're certainly on that path to do that. But if you want long-term stability that goes beyond just this administration, you have to get legislation. You have to canonize it into law. And that's why the industry was so interested in getting these bills passed. So I think that's why you're seeing some bipartisanship here. Like Bo said, I do think that there's a substantial number of Democrats who understand that this technology is the future, and it's a positive thing for the US. What could be bad about allowing digital dollars, which extends the dollar's dominance online, so that it basically bolsters the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency? Over time, as we get challengers from BRICS, for example, this is going to make the US dollar stronger. And every time a dollar token trades somewhere in the world on a crypto wallet, there has to be a physical dollar in a US bank account invested in a US treasury. And that creates demand for our debt, which is another positive thing. And there have been studies done that show that the results of this bill could be trillions of dollars of new demand for our debt.
There it is right there. And BRICS is a very real conversation. How many years we've been laughed at for talking about BRICS, and they said BRICS isn't a real issue. They're just talking about it for clickbait because they're YouTubers. What do you make of David Sachs pointing it out? What do you make of the Honorable Christian Carlo pointing it out on stage at XRP Las Vegas the last 2 years? This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't say this like I told you so. I say this because it confirms our thinking is right. It confirms the way we're speculating is correct. And that is something we constantly need to do because we're always out in front of our skis trying to figure out what's coming next. Take a listen here.
It's just been incredible. President Trump has worked at tech speed. We're used to working fast in Silicon Valley, but even this is fast for us in Silicon Valley, the speed at which you move President Trump. It's really incredible. And now today, you have another historic legislative achievement that is a monumental step to fulfilling your promise to making the United States the crypto capital of the world. This Genius Act will unlock American dominance in the crypto industry by creating clear rules of the road. It will update archaic payment rails with a revolutionary new payment system, and it will extend U.S. dollar dominance, like you said, globally, by creating a digital dollar that people all over the world can use. And for every digital dollar in a crypto wallet, there'll be a traditional dollar in a U.S. bank account, which will create trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. Treasuries. So that is the power of this bill, is U.S. dollar dominance. This is a huge promise made and promise kept by President Trump.
Well, there you have it right there. New payment system. New payment system. You know, they talk about the stablecoin bill, Yeah, well, what's all these rails this new stablecoin bill going to run on? Yeah. What's the highway we're using, fellas? Right? XRP Ledger? Stellar? What are we using? Talk to us a little bit. We're going to find out. Well, the system is broken. And listen to Brad Garlinghouse break down exactly where we're going.
Crypto is helping transform finance businesses today in a few different ways. And I think one of the challenges for the industry has been to focus on solving real problems for real customers. And Ripple, obviously, from its earliest days, focused on the problem around cross-border payments. that's a point of a lot of friction as measured by speed and cost. And by focusing there, we've been able to have a big impact on that, relatively small piece. But I think over the next years, you're going to see many financial transactions where a middleman sits, a middle transaction, an intermediary. Those will get removed, and we'll use blockchain and other digital asset type technologies to remove that friction. And I think all of society will benefit from improving the efficiency of those systems. I think you'll see that. Certainly, you've seen it in securities settlement as an opportunity. The financial transactions around bonds, around derivatives, a lot of these things take a while to settle, and the friction associated actually holds back the industry. Insurance is an industry I think you're going to see touched. Trade finance is an industry that really Ripple, some of our customers have invited us to participate in. And you've seen experimentation around identity in real estate and title management. And these are all examples where I think it's so hard to predict where this will go, in the same way that 25 years ago, when I first got involved in the Internet of Information, I never could have predicted on my smartphone I'd press a button and I'd have a car picking me up minutes later. I think this will permeate lots of different parts of our society.
And I think he's got it spot on, no doubt about it. And as I said, and I covered this yesterday, 2 days ago, with the signing of the Genius Act into law, not only is the United States going to lead the global digital currency revolution, as the Treasury Secretary said here, the United States has just initiated the first big step in establishing a new Bretton Woods, just like David Sachs talked about, creating a new use case for private issuance of stablecoins to create a new use case for holding U.S. Treasury bonds so we can come off the petrodollar agreement. And then I want you to listen to this. Do you think that all these Fortune 500s and all these banks are going to come running once everything becomes law? You think they're going to sit on the sideline and ignore it all?
We have the technology to allow every financial institution on the planet to settle with every other financial institution in a compatible jurisdiction in any asset in seconds for less than a penny. Just think about this. Anyone who's made a payment knows that we're nowhere near that today. But imagine every financial institution settling with every other financial institution in seconds for less than a penny, any asset. That's fundamentally transformative. We have the technology to do it. Now we just need to figure out how to drive the adoption. And of course, there's all the challenges with there's incumbents, there's regulation, there's inertia. There's the big players who are really trying to defend. If you're one of the largest banks in the world, you want to push pause or stop on technology. Because you're in the lead. So of course, you say you love technology, but obviously, you wish you could stop it. So
exactly, which means it's going to be a lower tier player that uses, once all this stuff becomes law, you'll see these smaller guys in the finance world step forward to get this first mover advantage. And the big boys know they won't have any choice at that point other than to get in the boat and join them. No question about it. And I believe that's a huge reason why Ripple was representing the new financial system, with Stuart Alderoty being at the White House during the signing ceremony for Genius Act. And we also see simultaneously that Real USD ranked number one by the stablecoin credit rating agency. It's an independent called Blue Chip. And then just to add to that, so you understand, and I believe this is not an accident, and that it's ranked number one. And looking down the list, Ripple gets the highest grade of an A, PayPal gets an A-, USDC gets B+, and Tether USDT gets a D, as in Delta. And then let's take this little clip in, because the next thing to come is what we just heard them talking about. New payment rails, a new payment system. It's like, well, I thought it was just stablecoin legislation. Tongue in cheek, obviously. We know it's more than just that. And so is the Clarity Act. That's what's coming next. October, ladies and gentlemen. Take a listen. Or maybe not. Let's try it again.
Clarity started in the House, and so it has passed the House, and now it's going to the Senate. And they still have to do their hearings and markup on it. And we expect that'll happen over the next couple of months. In fact, the chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, Tim Scott, has said that he wants to finish with the market structure legislation by the end of September. So if all goes well, then we could be looking at a second bill signing in, say, October. And like Bo said, that would be pretty much the crypto industry's wish list for having a clear legal framework in the United States for both stablecoins and other crypto tokens. So
There it is right there. We're talking about October. All right, that's less than 120 days away. Now, Unknown DLT says speculation. I love the way they wanted to highlight that. Brad Garlinghouse was not at the White House yesterday for the signing simply because he was meeting with the head of the IMF. There are no coincidences. No, I can't confirm that, and they are speculating and made it very clear that they are. But we do know recently, and shout out to Cowboy Crypto, he put out a second post, said that this date was incorrect. She was actually in San Francisco in May. But listen to what she says here very quickly here.
I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is a difficult time for the world economy. Low growth, high debt, high uncertainty. Countries cannot borrow their way out of debt. They have to grow. And to grow, they need to focus on productivity and innovation. This is exactly what Silicon Valley excels in. And I'm here to find ways in which we can be a transmission line of this spirit of innovation. Work with cutting-edge firms.
Oh, work with cutting-edge firms. Love that from her. Shout out to Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the IMF. And cutting-edge firms, you mean like Ripple and XRP Ledger? Because Ripple partners are involved in a project called mBridge. And we're talking about HSBC and others, right? Standard Charter, SCB, MAS. We all know what we're talking about here. This is huge, and we've speculated about this for a long time. But we don't have to speculate but so far, because James Wallace told us a long time ago exactly how to see the XRP Ledger. It is one of the pilots of mBridge.
We're using the same technology that is with the XRP Ledger. The token would be the CBDC, right? So the central bank would actually create their own token, a digital euro, digital dollar, whatever the market is, and that becomes the digital asset.
So that becomes a digital asset. Keep listening. The native coin.
The native coin, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, where XRP could come into play potentially is when you're looking at cross-border CBDC. So when you have a digital dollar and you have a digital, real, or digital pound, you obviously need to have some way to interact cross-border. Yeah. So I think the BIS call this a multi-CBDC model. One of the ideas is you use a sort of a neutral bridge currency to go from one to the other, similar to the model I explained earlier, with our on-demand liquidity. But the core offering really is not XRP. There's no XRP involved. It's the native token is the CBDC.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And we know that the native token of the ledger is XRP. What he's speaking about here, if you want to understand how they think about adoption at Ripple, you don't focus on XRP at all. You focus on the idea of the native assets being all the other countries' assets and all the tokenized tokens for derivatives, stocks, bonds, and otherwise. Because when you see it that way, you don't focus on the native asset being XRP. XRP has a privileged position. It will handle and manage itself where the best trades are on the back end. He's looking at it from a salesman point of view, which is exactly how you want to look at it, and letting everyone know that you onboarding on here makes you the native assets, because everything that XRP makes a market for isn't itself. You know what I mean? It is the native asset of the ledger, but in the terms of adoption, the native assets, and the right way to see it, are the rest of the world's value being tokenized onto the ledger. So well said. That clip has been incredible for all of us for a lot of years. Friendly reminder, Managing Director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, was in San Francisco recently while the Genius Act was being put together and passed. San Francisco is where the Ripple headquarters is located too. And I just showed you proof that James Wallace acknowledged in this clip that the XRP ledger is in fact at least one of the pilots of mBridge. But was it the one that was selected? That's what we're waiting to find out. And while we're waiting to find all of this out, we know Ripple is in the process of applying for a bank license, a 120-day window. And isn't that interesting? That would put us, from today, it would put us at November 17th, 2025. Isn't that interesting? We also have a go live date for SWIFT on November 22nd, 2025. Isn't that interesting? Take a listen to this clip.
What it means is that as of the 22nd of November 25, which is the date of the standards release, we end the coexistence period for cross-border payments instructions. And so
there you have it. And it'll be fun to watch how all of this comes together and how quickly they decide to phase in the digital asset side to the messaging side. This is going to be really fun to watch because, again, at this point in November, we should have legislation for market infrastructure by October, according to CryptoCzar and Senator Tim Scott. So then what else are we waiting for? The 120-day period of the banking license for Ripple. We're waiting for the go-live date for SWIFT. Everything is falling into place. I like the way that this is shaping up for potentially an explosive 2017-2018 end-of-year super cycle. That would be amazing. And until then, let's take a look at this. Resistance 361, 585, 976, 1822, and 23 bucks. Support levels, if it rolls over, is $3.33 and $3. There's your macros right there. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. Happy Sunday. I'll catch all of you on the next one.